What happens to thousands of Oklahoma children when they turn 18 and age out of the state's foster care system? Many times the outcomes are not good ones. ONR's Rory Taylor reports on what lawmakers are doing to change that.
When we're talking about the foster care system, right now there is currently just shy of 10,000 children in state custody in Oklahoma, and that number kind of varies depending on which study we're looking at.
Representative Carol Bush chaired the committee meeting that heard from Oklahomans who have firsthand experience with the state's foster care system.
I am 23 years old, alumni of the foster care system in Oklahoma. I was actually in twice. And then I ultimately aged out.
David Hall is now a middle school teacher and foster care advocate. He painted a compelling picture of what aging out of the system looks like.
There were 38% of 17-year-olds who at some point had already experienced homelessness. So they're in foster care, and whether or not it happened in foster care or outside of foster care, 38% already had experienced homelessness.
And more than 1 in 10 have become parents, and 41% have gone to jail. Within 2 years, 56% of these aged out 19-year-olds have experienced homelessness, and 14% of them have become parents after the age of 17, while the percentage of those going to jail was also 14%. Hall aged out of the foster care system because his mother's mental health issues were not addressed, and she wasn't ready to bring him home before his 18th birthday.
Never even so much as given a psych eval, let alone provided any mental health services. And actually the second time I was in care, obviously her mental health issues had never been addressed, and so I went back in care after going to juvie multiple times.
Hall says a child's safety is of paramount importance, but he also believes quality of life issues must be addressed as well. Rochelle Sims is a foster parent who takes her mission to heart. She has fostered over 60 kids and currently has 9 in her home, including her biological children. She feels it's her job to help break a cycle that traps families for generations.
You know, every generation we're breaking generational curses and generational chains, because a lot of my kids are third generation, foster care, prison, things like that.
She adds, while being a foster parent is fulfilling, it's far different than regular parenting. She says foster homes need better access to mental health and other services to avoid troubled children being shuffled from home to home.
And if a kid needs their inpatient, I'm fine with that. But if we can wrap services around them to not have to send them away when everybody sends them away, that is what I'm looking for.
The good news? Oklahoma is making progress in getting these teens ready for what life will throw at them.
We typically, over the last, 20 years, have averaged about 300 young people aging out of care. One of the things that we have done and put into place to help address that is looking at what do we do for those young people before they age out.
The Oklahoma Successful Adulthood Program within DHS helps foster children build relationships and better support systems.
We've been working on this for about the last 2 years, and what I can tell you is that this year our number of young people aging out of care was 169. So in 2015 it was 311, this year it was 169.
The difference is the push by DHS to encourage older teens to consider permanent placement if they don't wish to be adopted. It teaches them needed life skills that will allow them to deal with adversity and trauma when they leave the system.
And so if you've been removed at 3, 5, 8, and now you're aging out at the age of 18, you have the autonomy needs, the expectations of an 18-year-old. So get a job, find out what you want to do with your life, where are you going to go, what are you going to do. But what we know, what trauma does to us on a biological level is oftentimes emotionally and developmentally we're half our age.
Goodrich says kids who opt out of the system have limited support options and that housing and services are a crucial part of a successful transition.
We have transitional living apartments. We take community referrals in our emergency shelter so young people can stay there longer if necessary. And then we're also building a tiny home village to be able to provide transitional housing for young people.
Representative Brian Hill requested the study. He says investing in better outcomes now will save the state money by reducing the number of foster kids who wind up in prison.
So right now with our youth aging out of foster, we end up incarcerating about 1 out of every 4. So last year we aged out of close to 400 youth. That's 100 kids.
Hill says it is only right that Oklahoma gives all of its children a solid start towards the responsibilities of adulthood.
We want to make sure that just like my kid and your kid, that they have every opportunity because they're Oklahoma's kids.
Rory Taylor, Oklahoma News Report.